Welcome back, guys. Uh, Today we have a special guest on Off the Clock. It's Pabi Moloi. She's a local celebrity. She's almost as famous as we are over here.
I'm trying, guys. I'm trying.
She's trying very hard. So before the whole episode starts, guys, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below, and yes, let's get to it.
So, Bobbies, I think it's my turn to welcome you to
Hi.
Off the Clock. Thank you very much for making the time. I know you're a busy media person and also a mother. So, time is very precious to you. So, thank you very much for agreeing to spend time with me and my son. Maybe we can get into this. I know when I invited you, like, what is this all about?
Sure.
And, it's really about demystifying people like you so that they can see you're real, you're not a mystery,
Yeah.
and just understand you a little bit more about what you do, off the treadmill, the work that you do on radio, on, I think, public speaking and all that. At the end of the day, you're a human being.
Yeah.
You need to sleep, to eat, you get stressed, and we'll ask you more questions about that. With all that in mind, I mean, how do you sleep? I mean, how well do you sleep?
We're going straight into it.
Yeah. I mean, you look like somebody who sleeps well, who's happy, but, maybe you never know. It's just the water that is still on. So,
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me onto your platform. I think it's so extraordinary to create these conversation touch points. And I think as a father and son duo, that's always a beautiful space to observe from the outside in. And I think it's going to inspire a lot of people. So I think that that's really gorgeous. And I think it's good to be invited to come and speak about things other than what I ordinarily do. So thanks for the invite. How do I sleep? It depends on what's going on. I think that in life, there are ups and downs, there's challenges, personally, professionally, the country, and I'm a very sensitive soul. So I'm very, very soft. I'm very susceptible to the emotions of people, of looking at visuals of the war, of thinking about children who are abandoned, whatever it is. It really sits in my heart. And so I have to have a very stringent and maybe excessive to some spiritual practice to kind of let go of a lot of those things that I hold on to, or try to transmute some of that energy so that I can have restful, peaceful sleep. But I also exercise. And I think that that's one of the keys.
I saw some of your TikTok videos.
It's a key. It's an absolute revolution in my life. I didn't do any sport at school.
Why is that?
Because I was really bad at all sport.
At everything. Did you give up the first time you tried, or you
Never
just
sport.
netball? I
The
guess.
worst. So I have a story about that. My grandmother came to watch us play netball, and afterwards she came up to me and she said, "Baba, look, come sit here with me, my darling. Mamela, everybody's got different skills and talents. And what I saw on that netball court today, this is not your talent. This is not the skill for you." And I didn't feel ouch. I knew where my talents lay. It was always in theater, in the choir, in public speaking. So I knew that that was it. But the point of the matter is I think I didn't have a holistic connection, mind, body, and soul.
Did you say choir?
Choir, yes, absolutely.
So,
Please.
meaning you can sing?
Well, I mean, sometimes in the choir, you just have to participate to add to the voices.
She just made the cuts. Is what she said.
They needed 15 people, and I was always number 15. No, I didn't sing. I sang in choir. And so that's to answer your question. What de-stresses me?
But I mean, how many hours do you do a night of sleep?
That's a great question. We're up at about 6. If I'm not up a little bit earlier than everybody else in the home to get ready. And then I try to get into bed by 10. So what is that?
8.
Yeah,
Wow, that's a lot.
it's a lot. It's
Yeah,
good.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's
So,
good.
you're doing better than me.
Sleep is vitally important. And I know if I don't sleep cognitively, I'm not able to function. I speak for a living, so I've got to make sure that everything's connecting and I'm able to express myself. So it's very important. I got blackout curtains so that
Dark.
it's dark. It's dark, dark, dark in that room. And the temperature's just right. And it's gotta be what it's gotta be.
Okay, cool.
It sounds like there's a lot of like requirements for you to sleep well, though.
I mean, how do you do it?
I mean, how many hours do I sleep, or just how
Sure,
you just
sure.
sleep?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll just say my sleep varies. Like I would sleep between 10:30 and 12, unless my dad is like, we need to have a conversation, and then it's like sometimes those conversations end up like with a glass of whiskey, and then it's 1:30 a.m. and then it's like,
Wow.
Dad, we need to go to bed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd say I try to wake up at least at 7.
Okay.
At least at 7 every day.
And I don't
and
feel
then-
so bad because there's that 5 a.m., 4 a.m. club. And if I
Yeah.
get up at 6 or 5, you know, sometimes there's like a big pressure to be up that early and do things. But I find that my needs for the day are served by getting up when I get up and I get enough sleep. It's important.
No, that's true.
Mm.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't sleep early.
Mm.
I probably sleep like well from 1 to 7 a.m. 1
Okay.
a.m. to 7. But I'm a deep sleeper. And
Okay.
past when I hit the pillow, I don't struggle.
Okay.
It's like give me
like
a couple of
this.
seconds.
Wow, really?
And I crash.
I've always
So-
been envious of people like that.
So
It's a skill.
Yeah.
so between 8, 9, 10, and 12, like very me time,
Yeah.
doing my hobbies and things that I like, reading, writing, putting things together, or just talking about things
Yeah.
I like, and then I can retire. I'm not a morning person. I used to tell
You're not, eh? Like I've never said this, but it's like, yeah, you really are.
How does this manifest? What does he mean? What do you experience?
What, him not being a morning person?
Yeah.
Like he'll only get like on the weekend, he'll only be up after 10, 10:30.
So it's about not wanting to be up too early, but is he grumpy? Let's talk
No,
about your
no, no,
dad.
no. My dad doesn't have a mood like that.
Okay.
It's not grumpy. You just won't see him most of the morning because he's sleeping most of the morning.
Yeah, that's great. If you can, why not?
Yeah, because my weeks are quite heavy.
Yeah.
I try to kind of get a little bit of rest and get it back
Yeah.
on the weekend. But I'm not grumpy when I wake up early. I used to tell him when I was taking him to high school in the morning that I can't wait for this to end. I can't wait, and then I'll I'll buy that cabriolet and the sunglasses.
The funny part about this, you already
Go to
had the
work at
cabriolet.
night.
at that
But
point.
You know, you sit and assess the quality of your life and like the decisions that you've made. And I often sit and I go, wow, I really chose to go through school again. Because when you have a child, you are going through the whole school process all over again. So I understand what you're saying, that the rigor of up early, preparing for school, doing that school run, it's a
And that was his job,
It's a
taking
thing.
kids to school every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
it's
but
my
his
job
job.
too.
because it's just always the house deal. Because I was traveling a lot in my job early days when my kids were small.
Yes.
And when I was around, it's like no discussion. You own it.
All right then. So, Bobby, what do you seem like a very bubbly, open, and adventurous person. What do you do when it's time for your me time? Your hobbies?
Oh gosh.
What do you do for fun?
I mean, I think because of time constraints and really what I've decided to throw my life energy into, that exercise time is very much a me time space.
Yeah.
And yes, I'll lift weights. Yes, I'll run, but I'm listening to my favorite music. I go into one of the studios at the gym and I dance. And I really connect with the things that I love the most. And that for me has always been a place of almost, catharsis and spirituality, right? Being able to dance and have music and listen to the lyrics. And so that's very much a me time space. I mean, I have a very, very small child, so a lot of my time is dedicated to being with him. It's our special time, which is really great. I mean, I'm thinking I need to add more me time into my life.
What is small number?
7, he's 7.
Why didn't you bring him?
To this podcast.
Yes.
He's got a life. He's got things to do. He will tell you, Mommy, I don't want to zula zula. I want to go do my things with my people. I'll bring him next
At
time.
7 years old, he has his people.
He has his people.
Okay, he's got things figured out.
He really does. He really does. Yeah, I just, it's a very interesting idea of developing hobbies and things that you really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And I've been very, very fortunate that a lot of those things are very much incorporated into my career. So reading for leisure gets incorporated in what I do because we have book shows on the radio.
Yeah.
You have book shows?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Theater productions. I'll go and I'll watch a theater production, but I'll always know in the back of my mind that if this is something that I think has talkability, we've got to get it on the radio. So it always
Talkability.
becomes a part of what we do.
So, I mean, talking about that, is this what you always wanted to be when you grow up, or it just happened?
It didn't just happen. I think a lot of it is by design.
Okay.
So my story started professionally when I was 3, and I filmed my first commercial when I was 3 years old, and it was a commercial for
Cyril?
no, close though, fried chicken. It was a fried chicken brand which had facilitated a literacy campaign for children across South Africa. And so we were these 3 little cute children
Eating chicken.
with our book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so that was in print, in the cinema, and on television. That was my first job. So the understanding of production schedules, being on set, knowing what to do, cameras, lights, came from years and years and years of doing it from when I was young. So as I say, it's become so intricately linked with who I am as a developed adult that sometimes the things that I love to do the most are just linked in with what I do.
Because I get asked that quite a lot. If I, always wanted to be who I am,
Yeah.
and also because in my job, I do this featuring the CEO breakfast at work, just from different sectors and industries, and they tell their own stories, which is like, oh, so it's important for me to know where people started.
So from that young age, you always knew radio.
No.
What was the
No.
what did it look like?
I wanted to be on Broadway. I wanted to be a singer, actress, dancer, triple threat. That was it for me. I was in all of the stage productions at school, always in the choir, as I said, always in the lead. I went to a Catholic school, which is the most wonderful theater, isn't it? Because you're up there and you're speaking from the word, and you can say these things and lead people, stand up, sit down, kneel, stand up, sit down. I mean, it's just, it's incredible, right? And so that was how I grew up, and that's what I wanted to do. I got to grade 8, and a very, very good friend of mine and I were hanging out at home, and we were obsessed with this band called 3T. I don't know if you know 3T.
I don't.
Yeah, 3T were Michael Jackson's nephews, and all of their names started with T. Tyrell, TJ, I can't remember the other one, but 3T, and
It's
they
like
had
the
huh?
Kardashians before the Kardashians.
Exactly the Jacksons. And so we decided to recreate radio by having a 3T broadcast. And we wrote our own links. Hi, welcome. This is so-and-so and Pabi. And, you know, we're obsessed with 3T. And this is our favorite song on the album so far. We're going to compare and contrast some of the, you know, the magazines in those days would give you all of the write-ups about all of the artists.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And I don't know if that was the first foray into maybe radio is the thing for me, but I knew broadcast would always be a part of it. I knew it. Radio came when I was 18.
Only like 18 how? Like
After school.
So straight after school, I was studying music.
Okay.
And a friend of mine came to college that day and said, this radio station is hosting a talent contest. And literally all you have to do is go to Santon Square on the Saturday and audition. And then you win a job on the radio.
Wow.
That's for me. That is
Winning
for
a job,
me.
yes.
And I went. And it was like an idol style competition. You stand in the line. We were in the hot beating sun, got to the front and had the first tier of judges hear us speak. And as we were in the line, everybody was watching to see who would go into the caravan. Because if you qualified at the first line of judges, you get taken to the caravan for the next,
Like idols.
for the golden ticket.
You come out with that.
Exactly, the golden tickets. And so we'd watch and, you know, you make friends in the queue and yes, somebody that you know gets through to the caravan, or, you know, you pat somebody on the back and duduza them if they don't get into the caravan. And that's what we were doing. And I made it into the caravan. And I mean, after a whole host of auditions, thereafter, I won my job on Highveld.
Changed your life.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have definitely gone in this direction, but this properly put my foot in the door, established me, gave me the right people to work with in the right space. I was 18 years old, so I needed a lot of professional support.
Yeah.
And I had that where I was, and it was extraordinary. So, yeah.
So this is like a right place, right time sort of.
Well, I mean, there's always luck involved. This is life. There's always luck involved, right? Had Sarah not come to college that day, having heard that on the radio, she wouldn't have been able to tell me, right? But I did put myself in the position. I made means to go to the audition, to stand in the queue, and I was good at my auditions. So
You showed up.
I showed up.
Yeah.
I showed up.
You showed up, you showed out, you got the job.
Word. Yeah.
I mean, did that change your life? I mean, just getting celebrity status at that
Celebrity
tender
status.
age of 18.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was celebrity status. And remember, I've been working since I was 3. So I've always had some level of being known. And I come from a family of artists who were in the public eye. So I've always had a measure of that. I think professionally it changed my life. It really geared me and locked me into understanding, oh, so this is how you can maneuver in a career like this. These are the types of deals you can sign. This is the type of income you can make. This is how you need to conduct yourself professionally. That definitely put me into a specific space. But I will say this, because I was working from 3, I was on children's television. I was on KTV. And
You on KTV?
yes, I was on KTV. So KTV was the professional space that maybe gave me celebrity status. And so I knew how to operate in the business, but there was always that fear of not being able to transition from a children's television host into somebody who could have a career as an adult. And radio made the link possible for me, because I was removed from television. You can't see my face. You don't necessarily know who I am. And I was able to convince audiences with my talent on radio.
So, do you regret not being able to be on TV, or do you think radio is really what was perfect?
I was back
for
on
you?
TV almost immediately.
Okay.
I've always been able to straddle both. I've been very fortunate. I've always been able to do both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's next then? Are you going to become a movie star? Or...
I mean, I think what's next, I'll be honest, I'm in this really interesting space where I don't really know. And it's the most wonderful thing.
You don't know? Pabi doesn't know?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what I want it to look like, but I know what I want to feel like. And I'm following that.
Tell us about that.
About what I want to feel.
Yeah.
Freedom. It's about freedom now. It's about freedom of my time, freedom over my own voice. It's about creating what I want to create. And so whatever that looks like next, I think that will become concrete as I take the next steps forward.
Do you have a manager?
I don't.
You manage yourself?
I do.
Okay, that's hectic.
It can be. It can be. We spoke on the phone very recently.
Yeah, because you're like
I was like, I think
saying,
I should get a PA.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I spoke to you, but
I think I should get a PA.
You need a lot of help.
Yeah. I don't think I need a lot of help, Peter.
We'll talk off air.
I think, you know, especially in a business like mine, projects can run concurrently.
Yes.
And when you have 3 or 4 projects running concurrently, it can feel like a whirlwind. But 2 months down the line, you have one project that you're focused on. And so, you know, there's differences in the intensity of what we do.
It's true.
And I've managed very well so far.
So, is there still something you feel like you still need to do? And this is just on a general type of spectrum. Like, do you still feel like there's still something you want to go out and learn, something you still want to go out and try?
Of course, loads, of course. I mean, at the moment, I'm really toying with the idea of going back to school. I'd love to study sociology. I studied. Why did you give him that look?
No, I remember it's in education.
Ah, yes.
So
we should have a conversation. Yeah. I think so. I'd like to study that, maybe delve into some psychology. I've done neuro-linguistic programming before, so I'm really interested in people's stories and helping people to become their full potential. So perhaps some of that, more travel.
Yeah,
you know?
tell us about that. I mean, the travel, any ambitions, destinations, where you want to go.
The world.
No. Also, where have you been as well?
The world. So with my work, I will host television in, you know, SABC 1, Mnet, whatever it is, capacity. But I also do a lot of corporate television. And corporate television for one of the banks has taken me across Africa. So, you know, from Ghana to Kenya to, you know, Botswana, Zambia, I've seen quite a bit of Africa, and that's always
Okay. You learn the language.
my best. I mean, in 3 or 4 days that you're there in a whirlwind in bank branches, no.
The food? Did you try the food?
Absolutely, you have to. I think you absolutely have to, no matter where it is that you go.
What stood out for you? I mean, I just touched the very topic. I mean, the very topic that's very close to my heart. I've traveled to 44 countries on the continent.
Amazing.
And what stood out for you on the road in terms of the food and the culture?
I think the culture is always an interesting thing because I think as South Africans, we've really got something that not many places have. We have a real, maybe it's because it's home for me, but we have a real warmth, a real tangible warmth in this country. And so you travel across Africa, and yes, there'll be smiles, and it's very genuine, but it's just always very interesting when you think about home. In terms of food, is it tilapia, the fish?
Tilapia is the
Oh
fish. Yeah,
my
tilapia,
gosh.
East Africa
Yes,
mainly.
East African tilapia with lots of chili.
Okay.
Love,
Oh,
love, love.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Kenya, Uganda,
Yes.
on that lake, as you get off the airport.
It's
a lot of,
incredible.
Uganda tilapia there.
One of my favorites was Nigeria. I think for as the young people say, for the plot, because for the plot line, for the storyline of saying I've been, because we landed and
In Lagos?
yes, and of course you need people who'll be able to facilitate things for you, and so you've got to find someone who'll enable you to get the correct transfer. And then you've got to find someone who'll enable you to get the correct trolley guy to get your stuff out of the airport into the transfer. And all of this is just such an interesting dynamic between people. And they kept talking about human capital. This was years ago. And I'd never heard human capital used quite the way I heard it there. That there's just such a real push to be the best at what you do, to stand out at what you do, because the population is the way that it is and there's so many people. And I thought that was very admirable and interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm glad that you're talking about Nigeria because it's like different energy, different challenges,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's not for cities, it's not
No.
for everyone.
No.
Because even when you go at the airport, whether you're leaving or coming, immigration and normal stop, one stop at OR, where you go to one counter, they check everything else. In Nigeria, they make you stop 4 times. If you complain, they say, look, you can pay for fast track 10,000 nairas,
Yeah.
and they'll do it with somebody will do it for you. So it's just kind of a different culture.
Yeah.
But then again, if you've been to India, 1.4 billion people,
Which I haven't.
also the kind of same competition. I mean, to rise to the top, you need probably 10 times the energy
Yeah.
that you need in South Africa.
Yeah.
So it's been very, very educational seeing that, and I always say people complain a lot here when things go wrong until they start traveling. Like, think about load shedding in Nigeria,
Absolutely.
because every
Absolutely.
house or business has got 3 generators, not one, because that one will break or run out of something. It's nice life here.
We've been through a lot, but
Comparatively speaking,
yeah.
it's a walk in the park. I mean, I tell people that it's like, wait, tough.
But South Africa is so incredibly unequal. So there are spaces in South Africa that are very, very much still unable. And I always try to bear that in mind, that, what you and I experienced maybe is completely different to other spaces.
Yeah, I mean, which is good, which we see through that. The last time we spoke is your roots are from Limpopo, where you see that,
Yeah.
or Eastern Cape type of a setup and all that. So it's
Did I tell you my roots are from Limpopo?
yeah, your family roots, yeah.
Oh, my father is,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But I grew up in Soweto.
No, but most of us,
Like she had to put it out there.
It's different. No, I just don't want anybody saying or alleging that I said, I went to high school in Limpopo.
No, I said roots.
Okay.
Okay, roots. So, and I'm sure, I mean, because your father is from there, which is most people in the room here, I'm sure you had a chance to go see Fufu and
of course,
the family tradition stuff,
of
and
course,
I had
of course.
to rush back to Soweto.
Okay,
So,
traditions. Okay. So, what is okay, Pabi? Because this is a question I ask almost all our guests:
Yeah.
is what is the most adventurous thing you've done? Because we want people to see that you're a normal person that likes doing normal activities just like everyone else.
And what kinds of answers have you got?
Bungee jumping. Um, what was another one?
eating chocolate in bed and like
Eating chocolate in bed. That's not adventurous. But yeah, along
that
those
sounds
lines,
fun.
bungee jumping, skydiving. I think
Racing
Yeah.
cars.
yes.
So I've done that. There was a time where the 4 hosts across the daytime time channel on this radio station all drove a specific German car. In our own private capacity, we all had that car. And so their kind of racing
the
version, huh?
You want to name the cars?
Oh, we all had Audis.
Okay.
And so the R8 came out. And
Which
we-
year was this?
oh, it was 143 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I get the general
It
understanding.
was, I mean, because when did the R8 come out?
The first one.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if it was the first one.
The first one came out like 209.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 143
Like, don't
years.
quote me on that. I don't know. The V8 R8 is around that time. It's before
Yeah.
2010, right?
So,
But I mean, talk about R8. I remember going to see it in a dealer. Remember, and
Was this the blue one?
the one in the East End, and he's always been very passionate about the cars.
that's why you want to know which year.
So,
Got
so he took over the whole discussion, and he was asking all the questions like,
Ah,
"You're supposed to be with me now. I'm with you on this." And
In my mind, I
asking-
was like, keep up, Dad.
oh,
It's
that's
like,
amazing.
asking all the questions and all that.
So
But the
nice.
whole thing didn't end well because I insisted and asked for the key to crank the engine, and
Yes.
apparently it's been cold. We got in and really flattened that. And
I remember this now. Then they got angry
Yeah.
that you were
Uh,
revving the car.
the dealer principal wasn't happy, and that we're killing the
I
R8.
can imagine.
And that's why it's the connection of the R8 story.
So we got to drive R8s on the track, on the Kailami track.
Right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was really exciting. I've been shark cage diving in Gansbaai.
Shark
Yeah,
cage
we
diving.
saw a 4 or 5 meter long white, great white
Yeah.
with its little baby,
Okay.
which I believe is the most dangerous thing that you can do because, of course, mama is going to be very protective over the baby. But
Yeah.
we got to see that and experience that. Adventure. I've walked on the Great Wall of China. I went through a phase where I like climbing things. So I like climbed up Great Wall. I've done the hike, Table Mountain, not quite adventurous yet to go Kilimanjaro just yet, but I think that's going to be on the cards at some point, perhaps one of these days. But there's always a little bit of a adventure. I live in Johannesburg. That's adventurous enough. Drive through town.
Okay. What will the person in Lagos say?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's relative, isn't it?
Yeah, very relative. What sort of ways and toolkit do you have to deal with stress? Because I mean, you look good.
Thank you.
You don't look like you've had any problems, any stress. But I'm sure there are times that how do you deal with stress? What sort of
I don't have any stress, as you said. I'm relaxed 100% of the time.
don't lie.
Okay, I won't. So, what is stress? Stress is the external event or inciting incident, and then how one manages it and responds to it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that we can do to stop external stresses, right? So that can't happen. So the first thing, I had to have real acceptance that I cannot control what I cannot control. And that saved me gray hairs already. It's one of the most liberating things that I actually cannot control external factors. I cannot control people. I cannot control circumstances. Anything that's outside of my control, I can't be stressed about because there's nothing I can do. And then really having a measured approach to what it is that I can take on. If I'm operating at full physical capacity and emotional capacity, there's more that I can do. If I'm not, then there's less than I can do. So I really manage my diary, my things I promise people. I just manage that. I have to manage that. And then the gym is a really big de-stressor for me, having that time to punch a bag.
Punch the bag,
Yeah,
kick it.
yeah, exactly. It's a really big de-stressor.
Yeah.
And I have spiritual practice. I find that it's very soothing to meditate, pray, do any number of those aspects that serve my soul. I love it.
Cool. Maybe one or two questions and we close.
All right. So
Can I ask a question?
you may.
I mean, you're both working people, interacting with people in education. You're working with educators, but you're also in a faculty where there are, young people, they're students. There's a lot of stress. You lead people, Peter. How do you manage stress?
Me, actually, I penned a thought leadership article. I put it on
LinkedIn, yeah.
2-3 weeks ago. I kind of have accepted my position in the company, my standing in the society, in the church.
The church.
And people come to me with problems.
Yeah.
Nobody ever come to me to say, well done. It's very seldom that they do. And I think as a starting point, I think it just helps me to deal with it because I deal with big problems. And that's why he said, I'm never grumpy in the morning. I'm never unhappy.
Yeah.
Because I have to keep this kind of calmness.
So the acceptance of your role and position. Yeah.
And dealing with because I deal with big stuff.
Yeah.
And that just helps.
Yeah.
And for
I agree.
instance, there was a time when there was a big issue, and somebody was like shouting, let's deal with it. Let's tackle it now. It's like, go home. We'll deal with it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Go home. Go clear your mind,
Yes.
clear your head. Let's come back and the following day when I had a meeting, the boardroom was just everybody was just ready
Yes.
for it because they slept over it and they ready for it.
In terms of stress for me, I try to look at problems look at them in a bubble. It's like outside of this, the world is still turning.
Sure.
Like, this is not the end of the world. This is not like, I don't like things stressing me to the point where I can't function or it's just bringing down everything in my life now at this point. So I always frame the problem as the problem is the problem, but the problem isn't the entire world. Like, everything else is still moving, everything else can still go. I'm not gonna die because of this. So I try put it into perspective that yes, this is a problem. We must do it. We must deal with it, and it will pass at some point. It's not gonna, and it's only gonna make you stronger. And for next time, you'll be able to handle something like this better. So I always take it as stress. I mean, come at me. It'll only make me a better person, but also at the same time, I don't like it letting it take over my life.
Yeah, I'm hearing a similarity there, that go home, decompress, compartmentalize, and it'll pass. It'll pass.
Yeah.
So you're coming onto my radio platform?
Yes.
All
Just let me know. At least I've got an EA, which you will schedule it
Okay,
soon.
Brilliant.
And we can do that.
and we're going to speak about the education.
We will.
Brilliant. Thank you for having me. This has been very interesting.
Thank you for being here.